All right, I haven't told Jake this yet, but I'm not wearing socks today. Take that as you will. And now we're talking about the fourth week of the season. What did you think? Week 4, NFL.
Week 4, I think, has been the most hectic week out of all of them so far, at least with some of the upsets that you and I didn't even see coming.
Nah. We knew it. We called it just except for the whatever.
In private, we called it.
If we didn't actually say it, trust me, we knew it. We just didn't want to tell you guys because we wanted to leave some fun for the weekend. No, I thought it was a really interesting week again, and then the fact that now the only team left undefeated is the Arizona Cardinals, which means that I have to ask you, because of the fact that there's no like real quarter point anymore, because we are not split into four game seasons as coaches like to describe anymore. Who's the best team in the NFL after 4 weeks?
Well, the one thing that scares me is I've seen a lot of national media after last week say our team's the best team in the NFL, which I do not agree with. Kansas City, which, I mean, that would kind of be a go-to. They've been having a lot of close games and 2 losses, exactly. Tampa Bay, they had a bad loss, and, I mean, we're close with New England. Not that New England's a bad team. Neither you nor I think that. But, I mean, the record reflects it, and they've just been on a roll with that hiccup against Jacksonville that they had, and Minnesota. But Minnesota's not that garbage of a team, unlike Jacksonville. That Jacksonville game was a hiccup. I'm going to go with the hot hand and say the Cardinals are the best team in the NFL.
Oh, boy. I love this, because now I can talk about the Vikings, which I always want to get back to every week. So if the Vikings made a field goal against the Cardinals, the Vikings would have beaten the best team in the NFL. So what's that mean?
Any given Sunday.
Okay.
Any given Sunday.
What about this? Do you know the Vikings are 1-3, excluding the win they got? Do you know what their point differential is this season?
It's not 90. It's less than that. I know it's less than 90.
In the 3 games they lost.
With the 3 games that they lost?
Yeah, what's their point differential in the 3 games they lost?
-10.
-3. Do you see the funny thing about that?
Yeah, they should have made a field goal in overtime against the Bengals week 1.
Oh wait, no, that can't be right. I'm sorry. I think I heard that somewhere, but that game went to overtime. No, that can't be right. I'm sorry. I screwed that up. I don't know where I pulled that stat from. But they lost by 3 week 1, but it must have just been that they lost by like 1 score in every game that they played, and I must have misheard it. But no, they're like they're not losing games by big margins, even if they are losing them. So, I mean, just worth pointing out, plus the fact that, you just said the best team in the NFL was this team, and they lost the game because their kicker couldn't make a 37-yard field goal, which is pretty amusing. I mean, I just think it comes back to the point, which I feel like we discussed a little bit last week, but even more so this week. Like, this definitely showed that this season is going to be interesting the whole year, because absolutely no one is going to be able to run away with this thing, and it feels like 90% of the teams in the league right now have at least a shot to do something down the road. There may be like a few that we know won't compete, but man, it feels like you said, any given Sunday.
Yeah. It's really hard to, like you said, just determine at this point what teams are out of it and what teams aren't. I think there's 2 or 3 teams that at this point right now you could say, no shot. But I mean, even like a team, I'd say like the Eagles is still interesting, especially with their game this week, or this week 5, that they could keep it close. And I'm not going to count the Eagles out yet. Maybe in a couple weeks we'll revisit that, but
yeah, I know what you mean. I have to say, another thing that was really amusing about this week was just getting to see the NFL's Instagram post of of it saying that they were, what did it say? It showed the AFC playoff picture after 4 weeks of the season.
Yes.
Cincinnati sitting there at the 2 seed. Absolutely beautiful. That was amazing to see.
Yeah, I love early season playoff rankings. It's great. The Chargers at 1, and then the Bengals and the Bills, and then like the Raiders there. It's awesome.
It's amazing. Okay, well, I think we should actually probably get into the games this week.
Yes.
Say what we thought about them, and just get underway with things. So last week's first game was Jaguars at Bengals. So what did you take away from that one?
I mean, I had Cincinnati winning that one. Joe Burrow proved why he's a franchise quarterback. He was leading the team down there for drives. Not having Jesse Bates really hurt that defense, and Trevor Lawrence showed off something that, I mean, you pointed this out pre-draft. Like, he's got some wheels, and he can use them if he wants to. But I would have never guessed that he had as killer of a juke and spin move in his bag if he wouldn't have flexed it on Thursday night.
Oh, well, I don't remember saying that, but sure, if you want to credit me with saying something that apparently I was right about, I'll take it. The my two takeaways from this game. First off, my rankings of the off season for best head coaching hires. I still like putting Sirianni where I did. Wow, Urban Meyer's feeling like a pretty terrible one though. He feels like he should drop all the way to the bottom. That's not even going into detail of why. I think everybody knows. But with that being said, also just the other thing, man, the Jaguars were going to take. I said this to you already. The Jaguars were going to take a 17-point lead to halftime just by kicking a field goal right before half that makes it from a 14-0 game into a 17-0 game, and they chose to go for it. What did they gain by going for it? I mean, obviously, if they score a touchdown, they gain 4 points. But really, a 3-score game at halftime, are you really saying that you'd rather keep it a 2-score game going into half than a 3-score game? I think a 3-score game at halftime is much more significant than being able to say we have 3 touchdowns over three scores just generally being a field goal and 2 touchdowns. I don't think it's that big of a difference, and I think they should have kicked it before half. And honestly, with how the game played out, it may have lost them the game. They could have got their first win of the season.
You'd think with how Urban Meyer considers every week Bama week, and just that has become his most prolific saying is just, yeah, this is like every week we're playing Bama. You would just take the points in that situation because that's what you would do if you're playing Bama. Just get as many points as you can. Yeah, it was a wild decision there, and I really hate that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were just like, well, you're going for the touchdown here, and they just didn't even react at all to it. Like it should have been way more controversial than it was, and they only revisited it at the fourth quarter, end of the game. Joe Burrow going on that game-winning drive. They're like, yeah, if they really would have kicked that field goal there, they'd be up 6 right now.
But in the end, I think the important thing to still take away from this game is even though the Jaguars fell behind 14-0 early, we just need to point back to these QBs that we have a lot of hope for in their futures and stuff like that. Joe Burrow is definitely still one that we're looking up on, and that's not to say that Trevor Lawrence is necessarily one we're looking down on, but Joe Burrow has looked so good, and we expect him to keep trending upward. The Bengals don't win without him on Thursday night. I think that was pretty obvious to everybody. But when you've got these close matchups like this, it's hard to pick against a quarterback like Burrow, I think.
Yeah.
Moving on to Tennessee and the New York Jets. I don't even know what to say about this one, so you can go ahead.
I picked the Titans to win, and I think my justification for this pick, I think we spent all of 2 minutes, not even, talking about this game because I just said, yeah, they're playing the Jets. But again, any given Sunday, and I guess I just really under or overestimated the Titans offense without their top 2 receivers because I just figured Derrick Henry could still have a day against the Jets, which he did. Yeah, and watching that game, at the end, got out of the Bills game, sitting in the car watching on my phone, and I'm thinking, there's no way Matt Vrabel or Mike Vrabel is going to kick the field goal here. That's not his mentality. He's all or nothing. He's going to like just try to run a play and get the touchdown or get the first down, and he didn't. And that's what leads to the missed field goal and the game not being tied. I don't know. I don't like going for ties, but I also I don't know. This game was really weird, but hats off to the Jets. They might be they could possibly be the only team in the AFC East to beat the Titans this season.
Week 18, playoff implications, take a tie. Don't you dare try to walk up, make a field goal, walk off on a kick that ties the game for you. I mean, there still would have been 10 seconds left. Were they really about to kick a field goal and then try an onside kick to try to go score again? I highly doubt it. So, I mean, I don't get that at all. I completely agree with you. I don't even know how you approach your team afterwards. Even if you make the kick, what do you walk into the locker room and say? Well, guys, we could have tried to win, but yeah, no, I chose not to. Moving on to next week. Like, what's your team gonna say to you? It's even worse because they missed the kick. I don't know. That was a pretty disgusting decision. And watching the end of that game, I couldn't believe how it played out. Even more embarrassing is the fact that the Titans allowed the Jets to score 24 points in regulation, honestly, and then opening drive of overtime, get as close to possible scoring a touchdown as they possibly could, and potentially putting 30 points on the board. From this Jets offense, with what we've seen from them, I guess we should have been even more concerned about the Titans' defense, because I thought 24 points would be enough for the Titans to win this game. It was not. Yeah, I think that's all I got for that one.
Zach Wilson maintained the interception streak. He has not gone a game in the NFL without throwing a pick. I can't be more happy for the guy.
Lions, Bears.
Oh. We both picked the Lions to win this one, didn't we?
Yeah, they were trending up. The Bears are trending down. I mean,
I know. I'm not ashamed of that pick. It's just that I really would have liked to know that David Montgomery was going to sacrifice himself for a win for this team and just be like, yeah, I'll get us 2 touchdowns and a chunk of yards to start this off, but I'm missing 4 to 5 weeks after this game. And now the only running back that they're left with for next week is the playmaker. So that's something, but I mean, I'm disappointed. Dan Campbell's squad didn't step up. I really thought they could have and thrown around the Bears a little bit. But Justin Fields, I mean, kid's starting to get it. He's starting to get it. Second start, and the Bears fully committed to him today to be the starter going forward. So,
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how he continues. I'm still not gonna say that the Lions' defense is the test of all tests.
The Lions were missing their starting corner and like their nickel corner too for that game. So that secondary was already weaker than it was.
Well, I mean, I feel like well, I know their starting corner's out for the year, so I mean
the guy above that, he's above Melifonwu. I can't remember his name, but he was out. Then their slot / nickel corner was out. But I mean, at that point, with the lack of depth that the Lions have, I don't see much of a difference between a guy that's starting on that team and then some dude that's on the practice squad that they could bring up. So
yeah, I'm just waiting on the Bears to play some different competition. Lions, it's actually strange that the Bears were kind of the first team in a while that you actually lost by multiple scores to when you played all these other good teams close, and then you play the Bears who like are lost to like the Browns. That's interesting, but yeah, I'm just gonna need to wait another week before I have any strong opinions about either of these teams because it seems like they both bucked a trend this week.
Yeah, maybe it's just that the Lions can only keep it close with good teams, and when it comes to bad teams, it's like, well, we just gotta lie down and take this one. There's no way we're beating them.
Yes. Colts Dolphins. I know I have at least one note on this game, but
my lock of the week, and I was right. It wasn't a tie, unfortunately, for you. Your
So
your
sad.
big hot take of the offseason that this game was going to be a tie. um, but I mean, Carson Wentz looked okay, and the Dolphins looked like they've been playing. I still think that this game would have been a lot less close if Tua is the starting QB. And Dolphins in this game lose. I would it be? I mean, they lose Will Fuller now because I was going to say their best receiver. I don't think that's too like hot take to say Will Fuller is the best receiver on the team right now. Maybe you could say Jalen Waddle. And then they trade Jakeem Grant after this game, so I don't even know what the Dolphins are running now with
Missed
like
that
depth
one.
in that receiving core.
Where's he going off
Traded
to?
him to the Bears.
Oh, the Bears, the team that shipped out a bunch of receivers. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
That seems about right. Well, I mean, to be fair, if they actually use Justin Fields' arm strength, then I'll be excited for that. Yeah, no, my one note about this is I'm mad that it wasn't a tie. The Colts got to win. That's a big deal, I guess. Neither of these teams are teams I'm really like ready to, you know, get back invested to. I'm still not thinking very highly of either of these teams, even after seeing the Colts get their first win. We'll have to see them against more good competition that we know is coming up in their schedule and see how they fare in those games.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah. Browns and Vikings.
Baker Mayfield did not look good in this game. He missed a lot of throws. He was throwing behind Odell, in front of Odell, giving Odell some really sticky situations where he could get lit up if he caught the ball, was throwing him some hospital balls there. Vikings defense was stout though. They held them for a lot of the drives. It's just Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt will always be there to bail out the Browns no matter how many woes their QB or receiving core has because that line and those running backs are that good.
You remember how last week I said, yeah, I watched Seattle walk down the field and I figured, well, I guess the Vikings aren't going to be able to win this game because Seattle just walked down the field opening drive. They'll probably be able to do that all day. Kirk Cousins finishes the first drive 6 for 6, 59 yards, touchdown pass, and then goes on to score 0 points the rest of the day. And those are rough estimates of the stats because I can't remember them exactly. That's literally just remembering from 4 days ago. I don't know how that happened, basically in the opposite sense that day from what happened with Seattle a week ago. They walk down the field and then they're unable to score again the rest of the game. I like this Browns team, but both of these teams really disappointed in the offensive department for me today. I guess I said that the Browns would handle the Vikings. Is 14-7 handling? I mean, maybe more like 42-21 would be handling if the Browns scored double the points the Vikings have then that would make more sense as a score for me. But I can't believe how low scoring this one was. And the Chargers are playing the Browns next week, and that's definitely a game that will be getting my as close to undivided attention as possible. Because I'm really interested to see where the Browns go from here because as I said, these are the two teams I said are going to go to the Super Bowl, which is hilarious to say, but it's the truth. So, I got to see where the Browns are going to go from here, especially because even higher on them than the Vikings. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Washington at Atlanta.
The legend of Taylor Heineke had to be put on pause last week, but it resumed in this game. Him and J.D. McKissick, wow. And while we're just talking about receiving backs, the best one in the game, Cordell Patterson, having the game of his career. Arthur Smith, I mean, they have like a once in a generation tight end talent that they drafted in Kyle Pitts. They got Calvin Ridley, who I'd say top 20 receiver in the league at minimum. They got Mike Davis, who was solid last season. No. Let's go with Cordell Patterson. Arthur Smith. I think Arthur Smith was the guy that I said was the best coaching hire last season. And if he is going to lose games living and dying by Cordell Patterson, I will stick by him being the best coaching hire of the offseason.
You're You're so right about the Cordell Patterson stuff. I remember I wanted the Bills to draft him when he was coming out of school. Initially, I was like, ooh, Tavon Austin. I don't know if I like him or Cordell Patterson more. And then I eventually sold myself on Cordell Patterson. We didn't end up getting him, but honestly, even though he's just had a career where he's moved around from team to team, if he was on the Bills for any period of time, I would have loved that. Even though he hasn't been that great, that entire draft class kind of sucked. If you want to go back and look at it, but yeah. Besides that, I mean Heineke did put up 34 this week. That's better. Atlanta actually started scoring, but it was against one of the best worst defenses in the league. I don't know. This game still has Atlanta especially is really like, what is going on there? Washington, I feel like I'm getting a better picture of because I've watched a decent amount of them playing through the first 4 weeks. But man, I really don't know what to take from Atlanta. And Washington kind of won this game by how much I thought they'd win it by. I just didn't think there'd be this many points scored in the game.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Houston at Buffalo.
Yeah, that was a shellacking that I got to witness in person in the rain and the cold. That was a lot of fun.
Imagine picking Houston in this game.
Yeah, who could pick Houston in this game? Who could pick Houston to upset the Bills in this one? Couldn't be me. But I mean, we always talk about when we watch our favorite team play. This, Bills are our favorite team. We want a game like this where it's just thoroughly in the lead the whole time. There's no chance that they can lose. But at least for me, when I was in like the rain and the cold, I was just like, "Yep, this is gonna be all game, isn't it? Nothing interesting's gonna happen." But yeah, Davis Mills, he got brought back down to earth after last week. The Bills' defense is really stepping up, looking like not a weakness for them anymore. If anything, it's a strength now. That's again tough to say because they played against Houston. Really wish Tyrod would have played in this one. Josh Allen has looked all right, and Dawson Knox, top 5 tight end in the NFL.
And by that you mean just that they're going to target him until he's a top 5 tight end in the NFL. Yes. Whether or not he's any bit talented enough to actually be that, it doesn't matter. He will get the targets. Yeah, no, the balance for the Buffalo Bills is amazing. Josh Allen still missed throws this week, but it was in the rain, so he actually has an excuse. So I don't really care about those, and it really wasn't a lot of throws that he missed.
69% completion percentage is pretty good. That's nice.
No, I know, but he opened the game with a pick, which was the sad part. And then the only note for the Texans is realize that when you're starting a rookie quarterback on the road with an awful roster, and you have an opportunity to get points on your first drive because, well, I think it was their second drive actually, because a potential MVP candidate from last year threw a pick on his opening drive. Take 3, good lord. You're not, as you can see, you put up 0 points the rest of the game. That was your only opportunity to score, so take it when you can have it. I guess the only argument against that is we're going to get killed. We need all the points we can get. Yeah. We already knew from the start of this game there was no chance. Not too many notes from that one, though.
No, not.
Giants Saints.
I don't know how you saw this one coming, man. Well, I do know how you saw this one coming because Jameis is going to win next week. There's no doubt Jameis wins next week. But the Giants get their first win. All the New York teams won, so that's good. And by that I mean the Bills won, and then the 2 New Jersey teams won as well. But the Giants get their first win at the Superdome, which I mean is wild. First game back from the Superdome after a hurricane. You're expecting like magical things from the Saints. No, the Daniel Jones and his brigade just came in there and won it. I love Jabril Peppers. I wanted the Bills to draft him. That draft that he was in. I mean, we ended up getting Tre'Davious White, so I can't be too mad. But just his whole enthusiasm, I guess would be the right word, when they won the coin toss, and knowing that he would then be the one that's returning that ball, or the kickoff is pretty dope. I love Jabril Peppers, and yeah, I can't wait to see the Saints win next week.
I think I'm the Saints whisperer is what we've figured out. I mean, I picked the Saints to lose against an 0-3 football team at home, coming off a huge a huge like thing that you described there, returning after a hurricane. Yeah, they lost, and then week one I picked them to win in Jacksonville against the Packers, and they won. So I mean, I'm not trying to say anything, but if you're looking for your Saints info, I got it, and I mean, I want to reveal my pick for next week for the Saints, but I'll hold off for now. I'll hold off.
Yeah.
You'll have to watch the other
Go
episode
watch
for
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's my only takeaway, though, that this is still actually, this is just going to be a meme of a thing, where we've already had a bunch of memes of Jameis already this season, and it's just going to be more Jameis memes when they keep winning and losing on and off every week. It's going to be absolutely amazing. How are there not going to be more of them? I don't know. That's really all I can say about it, because I don't know what else you can say, because this team has been the most up and down of any team in the league.
Peyton better hope that bye week comes when he's about to have a down week, because that's the only way they're making the playoffs.
It's the only way they're above 500. Yeah. Chiefs, Eagles.
Philly put up way more of a fight than I thought they were going to in this game. I was surprised. Kansas City's lack of a defense, and I shouldn't say lack of a defense, lack of stout defensive play, is killing them, because Patrick Mahomes can put up points at will. That's not a problem. It's when he is getting all like having that pressure on his back of like, you have to go down and score this drive, because we know for it's kind of like Russell Wilson last year, where it's like, we know for a fact the defense will not stop them.
Yeah.
You need to put this drive on your back to like get us up 3 here, and if you don't, we're going to lose. And that's not really sustainable. We've seen it through the first 4 weeks that it's not sustainable. And he's been making some more boneheaded plays than usual, which, I mean, it's just what comes with being a dad.
I like seeing what we've seen from Philly's offense. The fact that they were able to put up 30 against this team is pretty good. They're really still impressing me with what they've been able to do. But yeah, in Kansas City, because we were just so low on the Eagles before. But on Kansas City's side, you're absolutely right. The what they're allowing to happen to them on the defensive side of the ball is absolutely killing them. And I'm really shocked by it. I didn't think that investing in their O-line this offseason would somehow mean that their defense just became horrible, but it really has been it's been pretty bottom tier of the league, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens Sunday night against the Bills. And just because Kansas City can score so much, I'm not going to say that either team is like going to run away with this. But if the Bills can play a clean game, I honestly think that they should be favorited. Even though they're not, Kansas City's the favorite in this game. Mm-hmm. If the Bills can play a clean game, though, I think that they should be the favorite in this game, even going on the road to play Kansas City, just based off what Kansas City's looked like so far this year. But also, all it takes is one mistake on the Bills' part, and if they turn the ball over once in a bad situation and say it goes for a pick six or a fumble that is immediately turned into a touchdown, that could end it too. So. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting to see what happens this week, because
yes,
even though like these teams both put up great numbers in terms of offensive numbers this week, I'm really looking more towards next week for both of them to get an accurate prediction of what they really are. I don't know how much I want to take away from this, and that goes for Kansas City and really Philadelphia too, because Philadelphia has had some very interesting games this season so far.
Yes, to say the least, they've had some interesting games.
Yeah. Now, good game for me this week. Panthers at Cowboys.
Yeah, you got your first lock here, right? Finally got a lock right.
Yeah, I
Nice.
did. They were supposed to
Um,
lose.
yeah, I don't know how the Cowboys won. Actually, that's a lie. I do know. Trevon Diggs is now the best corner in the NFL, averaging over an interception every game. Jalen Ramsey, who, I mean, I hate. I shouldn't say I hate the Cowboys. I really got no reason to hate the Cowboys, but everyone else does in groupthink. So yeah, I do hate the Cowboys. So I hate that they now have a stud like that, and I hate that he's a brother that of our number one receiver because we should have drafted him. Could you imagine him opposite Trey White? Oh no, enough of the Bills talk now. The Cowboys look to be rolling now. Like Dak seems he looked a little scared in the first two games. Not so much the Tampa Bay game. I think he just threw caution to the wind to try to win that one. But at the start a little. But he's gotten rid of that hesitancy. I mean, he's still not running as much as he used to. I don't blame him for that. Uh, I find it funny when they talk about like Zeke and Tony Pollard being like a dual backfield. I'm like, yeah, it's a dual backfield. One guy's like rookie 6th round pick contract, and the other dude's number one paid running back in the NFL. But yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, it's a shared carry backfield. Um, but yeah, the Cowboys are rolling, and the Panthers played their first legit opponent and lost. So I'm not sure how that's going to extrapolate over the course of the rest of the season, but they just made a big splash pickup and got Stephon Gilmore from the Patriots for a 6th round pick, so he can help that secondary out.
The Cowboys did what I thought they'd do. Um, it's interesting to learn that Sam Darnold officially, after 4 weeks of the season, is the best running quarterback in the NFL. Maybe only potentially behind another New York quarterback in Daniel Jones. But with that being said, I do think it really was kind of an important game to see that the Panthers had to go play an opponent that really wasn't as much of a cupcake as some of their other ones have been so far this year. And I think we got a decent look at how they actually look against a good team. And I'm pretty sure they added 8 points late in this game to cut that to an 8-point loss instead of a 16-point loss. So that made it a bit closer. I feel like the Cowboys had this one in hand most of the time. But yeah, the Stephon Gilmore pickup is very interesting because they were not a team for a moment that I had on my radar in terms of wanting to pick up a corner. But I guess anyone the week after they would play Dallas would probably feel like they need another corner with what they're working with for receivers on the opposite side of the ball. Even though, from what I heard, Dallas really dominated this game because of how well they were able to run the ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, and that's why I brought up the dual backfield because I just love that. Yeah, both of these guys are equally good. Yep, we're paying one 8 times the amount the other guy's getting paid.
Seahawks Niners.
Yeah, I really like the NFC West that every game you could just flip a coin. And it's like, yep, which one's gonna win this game? All right, let's find out.
You're just mad because I got it right and you got it wrong.
Yeah, I am mad about that. Maybe I was too high on San Fran going into this season. Maybe that bias is still carrying over. I don't know. But Trey Lance, he's gonna get that start next week. He didn't look that good when he got in there this week, but the game plan, what Shanahan said, the game plan wasn't made for him going in there. They were still going off what Jimmy's game plan was, which I think is stupid. You need to be able to adapt to that at some point, if not halftime. Like, how do you just like, yeah, we have two separate playbooks and we're just going to keep using what we have for Jimmy instead of Trey? I don't get that. Yeah, Seattle's defense was suffocating him the whole game, and which is weird to say because Seattle's defense. Uh, and San Fran's offensive line was not holding up well against them either, which was something that made me raise an eyebrow.
I picked Seattle to win this. It's a divisional game. It doesn't change much about how I feel about either of these teams. But what I have been talking about since the first week of the season is that we could potentially see this division entirely flipped on its head from what we are expecting it to be by the end of this season. Like, it literally may be completely upside down, which I don't think will happen in any other division, where we would have the Niners at what would be the top at the start of the year for us, then the Rams right behind them, then the Seahawks, then the Cardinals. If the Rams lose Thursday night to Seattle, which is one day from now, probably the same day for most of you watching this, it'll it'll be crazy, because then that'll mean that the Cardinals are at the top of the division, Seattle's in second place, and the Rams and Niners are the two bottom teams, which are the two teams we said basically. As I said, the division is flipped on its head from where we suspected, but we also knew that this was probably going to be the best division in the NFL coming into the season. So yeah, I mean, that's just my point. And the next game is more NFC West talk, so we can continue there with Cardinals Rams.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to say this for every game that Arizona wins, just to get like a jab in there, but also like tip my cap. The talent on this team really can make up for Cliff Kingsbury. And I don't know how much longer I can say that, because he has been calling some good games. But yeah, it was two offensive titans, two geniuses of offense going at it, and Sean McVay and Cliff Kingsbury. And Kingsbury came out on top in this one. Having that pass rush against Stafford is wild, but I mean, the way the Rams are constructed is the same kind of way that the Titans are constructed. We've talked about this at length. It's like, yeah, we got the superstars, and if we can't win by the superstars, we're going to lose. And the Cardinals like have a bunch of washed superstars on their team, at least on the defense. And just like the amount of talent that they have spread across that defense is way more impactful than one Aaron Donald and one Jalen Ramsey. So I'm not too shocked that they came out of this came out of this with a win. I need to start watching some more Cardinals games, but it's really hard when the first one I watched this season had Gus Johnson at the helm calling it.
I said after week 1 of the season that I am on MVP Kyler Murray bandwagon until he gets injured and can't play, so he'll lose the MVP because of that. I'm staying on that. They're 4-0 now. The only thing I'm upset about with the Cardinals is the fact that they're 4-0 instead of 3-1, because I mean, if you win a game in the NFL, you win it. So they are 4-0, but geez, they had one game where they cut it as close as possible, allowing a kicker to kick right before 37 yards again. That's not something we see missed too often in the NFL. And they would have lost to one of the other best teams in the NFL, Minnesota, as I said earlier. So just need to reiterate that point again just to get it across. But yeah, talent on this team's great. I can't believe that they came out and scored 37 against the Rams. That's shocking to me against that defense. That's incredible. On the other hand, I said about the Rams, I know this is probably going to seem wild for me to say this, but man, I'm still kind of worried if they're going to be scoring enough points this season. I thought with what I was going to see with Stafford at the helm, I thought these guys would be an easy 30 points a game. And I mean, they may still do that against bad teams, but 20 against the Cardinals, that's not a defense I'm too in love with. You were the home team too. I mean, it's not like you were in a tough environment. What's going on here? I don't love to see that. Man, this is the team that going into the week, I was like, okay, looking around the league, we've got a lot of teams that have lost games, but so we don't really want to put any of those at the top. I think we got to go with the Rams for the best team in the league right now, but I don't want to do that. And even though I asked you the question earlier about who the best team in the league is, I don't have an answer, because I've seen bad things from every single team in the league so far this year. And we're really going to have to see who gets on that hot streak once we get around that mid-season mark to really have a good idea. Because the Cardinals almost lost a game, and they're the only team left, and we're only 4 weeks in. That's pretty crazy to have this few undefeated teams 4 weeks into the season. There's only one remaining, and it's not like we're too confident that they're going to stay like that for very long with how close they've played teams like the Vikings and the Jaguars, even though they did just beat the Rams by 17 points.
Yeah, I can already picture Larry Sonka just smoking that cigar as the Cardinals lose their last game, but it doesn't count because he never had to play in a 17-game season.
If they get to 14, I'll be shocked. I'll give you that beforehand. Yeah. Well, let's move on to the next one. Steelers Packers.
Pittsburgh, you are who I thought you were. The team is not good.
Say that every week.
The team is not good. They pulled out that win against the Bills with some special teams heroics, and then the wheels fell off of Ben. He had one game left in him. Before he had the wheels fall off, and now the wheels have fallen off. And it's going to be hard for them to stay competitive now. I mean, you got guys like Juju on the sideline who made the decision to not go to a team like a Kansas City or like a Baltimore to stay in Pittsburgh because he was convinced that they could win there. And now it's not looking like you might get more than, let me just throw a number out there, 3 wins. You might not get more than that this season. I mean, they kept it kind of close in the end against Green Bay, but even I think like they zoomed in on Rodgers' face when like they scored that touchdown, then tried the onside kick. He was just like, "Really? I still have to come out here and try because you guys are going to try to do some of the stupid stuff." So, I mean, yeah, you're not going to win games just like trying to get Najee like off a screen pass on 4th and 11. It's just not going to work. It's not sustainable. Like, throwing the ball 60 times a game isn't sustainable. Throwing the ball to your running back those 60 times is way less sustainable than the former of those options.
The Steelers put up 17 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Steelers put up 23 in the first game because they got a special break on a, on a special teams play. Okay, 23. Mm-hmm. Second week of the season, they put up 17. Third week of the season, they put up 10. Fourth week of the season, they put up 17. I think it's going to be pretty easy for this team to pick games for them. If they're playing a team that can put up more than 17 against a stout defense, because Pittsburgh's defense is still good, they're going to lose. But with that being said, it's tough to count them out of it because 17 may be enough against some teams to get a win. Honestly, I don't know. We'll have to see more of who they're playing in the future. But like a team like the Broncos coming up this week, I don't want to look too far ahead to the games this upcoming week, but they've got the Broncos this week, and I don't know what's up with Teddy B, but if Drew Lock's coming to town, I think they still got a chance in that game, even though I'm not too confident in this offense to put up points. But as going on the road to Lambeau, yeah, I'm not shocked with that offense that they weren't able to put up enough to keep up with Rodgers.
Yeah.
Ravens Broncos. Wow,
you and I both got this upset, right? Because this game technically was an upset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how the odds makers had it that way, but I mean, I think we all kind of saw it coming. Denver, the same kind of case as Carolina. They're playing their first real opponent, and they lose. And John Harbaugh runs it last play of the game to get the yards they need to get 100 yards. And Vic Fangio's big mad about that, and he's going to carry that anger with him to Pittsburgh next week. Big Ben's going to feel the whole wrath of Fangio.
You know what my thought is on Vic Fangio complaining about that? Honestly.
No, I agree. It's stupid because he tried to score a touchdown in garbage time with 10 seconds left when they're down like 20.
Has nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with that. It's literally as simple as this. If you don't want to play the whole length of the game, don't show up for any of the game. I know that seems ridiculous, but honestly, if you don't want to play the whole game, don't show up for any of the game. No, you're there to play the game. Honestly, the fact that people kneel down, as much as they do out of respect when you're supposed to be trying to win by as much as possible, because it actually can affect the end of the season. Every team should be trying to put more points on the board at the end of the game, even when they're winning. So, I mean, it's kind of nice that they do it, but that doesn't mean that it's like it's a necessity and you need to do that. Just being a loser. He's just being a sore loser, honestly. I have no problem with it at all.
Well, like I said, I liked what Harbaugh said about it, and he's like, we were like, yeah, it's kind of a rude thing to do, but at the same time, I didn't think there was some magical 16-point touchdown out there that he was trying to score with 10 seconds left.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely correct. But yeah, no, I'm gonna reserve. I do think Baltimore's the better team, but just because we didn't get a full game of Bridgewater, I'm going to leave the door a little open on the Broncos still, because I saw he exited that game. I don't know actually if he ever returned. I just assumed that he didn't return to that game.
He got a concussion, helmet to helmet. I don't know if he is ready to go next week or not.
Yeah.
So,
but that just threw him out of a rhythm. So it feels like we got the right end result, but I'll leave the door open and I won't. And Baltimore did their job from their perspective. Then, the game of the century, like I talked about, New England and Tampa Bay. I should be saying Tampa Bay and New England because Tampa Bay was the road team. But what did you think?
It was really funny looking at Twitter and seeing everyone complain, like, they hyped this game up too much. I'm like, it's Belichick. Do you really think this is going to be, like, a defensive battle? What were you expecting, like, Rams or KC against LA a couple years ago where it was just lighting up the scoreboard? That's not going to happen in a game that the Patriots are in. And they're like, this is so boring. I hate this. Yeah, if Bill Belichick's one of the coaches, it's going to be like that. He knows Tom Brady. Tom Brady knows him. It's going to be a chess match the whole game. That's what it was. Saw some great flashes out of Mac Jones at the end of that game, looking like the heir apparent, and it was really funny that everyone was like talking about like, oh, did you hear what Brady said to Mac Jones and everything after the game? And I was like, I need to hear this. He just went up, hugged him, and was like, good job. That's all that he said to him. And I was like, yeah, that's great. But yeah, the Patriots were like the offense was kind of a little bit different than what I thought it was going to be. They knew that they couldn't run it against Tampa Bay's defense, so they spread it out and were throwing it with Mac Jones, and that's what Tampa Bay was doing in New England as well. I liked it. It was a fun game to watch.
Buccaneers completely outmatched the Patriots, and the Patriots still had a chance to win in the end. Honestly, probably with how close Nick Folk came to making that kick with 50 seconds left, I guess it probably was the right decision by Belichick. I don't know. Everything I've seen of Nick Folk so far would not have had me sent him out there, though. I probably would have went for that on fourth down. Just because also that's a tough kick already, and then you're playing against a guy that you know very well is able to move the ball down the field very easily. But you held him to 19, so maybe I'm saying the wrong thing. And I mean, geez, 19 is a really impressive mark against this offense, in my own opinion. So Belichick did kind of what I described. It's just that they came up a few plays short. They were really close because I think people thought that this could potentially be a blowout, but I think this was another impressive showing from Belichick just because I do believe that the Buccaneers completely outmatched the Patriots. And really, if you're just talking about a roster-to-roster perspective, should have beaten them by probably more than one score, and not just 2 points.
Yeah, that Nick Folk decision is the one that was kind of a head-scratcher there, especially, like, I mean, I know Collinsworth and Michaels are playing it up for dramatics and everything, but it's just like, yeah, he's got an injured plant leg. The wind's blowing at 100 miles an hour left to right. This 52 yards away, it's raining.
I think it was 56.
56, yeah. And it's raining. I was like, yeah, I think it's easier to like go for 2 here, or to get the 2 yards, get the 2 yards, than it would be for Nick Folk to have to make this bomb of a kick.
Man, you've got 2 on your mind. I swear, I thought it was 4th and 6 and it was also a 56-yard field goal. I mean, one of us is misremembering.
Yeah.
I don't know which one it is.
It was a
but
56-yard field goal. I just think it was 2.
no, yeah, I mean,
You know what? I might be having it confused with Joe Judge being an idiot and not going for the 4th down, 4th and 2, instead kicking the field goal and missing it. That's probably what I'm thinking of.
okay,
You're probably right.
okay. Well, yeah, no, I mean, we got this game as close as we could. I was surprised how close the kick came. Seriously, I mean, we're both disagreeing with it, but I can't believe how close. I thought Nick Folk was just gonna like shank it completely. So I was like, oh man. But yeah, no. I just wish the Patriots could have gotten it, so I could have gotten another win this week, because that would have been a great upset pick for me. To be able to have that one under my belt. But I mean, Belichick kept it close, which I guess was all I was really asking for. And then concluding with Monday Night Football, the Raiders and the Chargers. You got any big notes from this one?
Yeah, my Chargers are rolling. Brandon Staley. I mean, I'm gonna say it, man. Brandon Staley's got some balls. With the decisions he's been making this season. I love it. Though the fake punt that got just blown up by Hunter Renfrow, that was one thing, but it was a great play by Hunter Renfrow. That's kind of like the one big thing that I have for that game. Derek Carr still leads the league in passing yards after this one, so that's dope. Yeah, the Chargers defense is really good. Raiders defense is really good. It's just Joey Bosa compared to Max Crosby is a little different. And Justin Herbert, I mean, he's solidifying himself as an upper echelon QB in this league now.
Yeah, I thought the Raiders would put up more points. Kind of disappointed with that. As for the Chargers, did their job, picked the Chargers to win. Even though the Raiders were undefeated up to this point, feel kind of right about how it went. I just thought it would be closer in the end. And besides that, I really wasn't shocked by anything that I saw come out of this game. I don't feel like any of my opinions changed too much.
Yeah, no, I picked the Raiders to win it, but it was more me just having to cram in another upset in there. So, I mean, I'm happy with what the Chargers are doing, just proving me right.
And I actually don't think that we've saved any of these for the end of the videos usually, but I think we've been doing these at the beginning of the recap videos. But what is your total record now sitting at for the season?
Oh, total record?
Yes.
My total record right now is sitting at 39-25.
I had a good week. I went 12-4 this week. What did you go?
Went 9-7.
Yeah, I'm 41-23 on the year for total. How'd you do in upsets this week?
In upsets, I went 2-2.
See, this is where I really got you this week. Upsets, I went 4-2 this week because I got 2 extra. And locks for the week.
1-0.
We both got 1-0.
Total locks. Why don't you didn't want to bring up total locks? How about we talk about total locks?
I was actually about to bring up total locks.
Oh.
I know that was my first lock of the week that I got correct, which is ironic because it's a lock. I'm 1-3 in locks. And what's your total for upsets?
My total for upsets,
yeah,
is now 9-7.
10-6. So barely beating you in that. Our tiebreaker is locks though, so I'm nervous. Still nervous about that.
Our records for locks are flipped, so.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to catch up. You're gonna have to pick some spicy games to help me out there. But but I just realized something. You said you're 39-25.
Yeah.
So like, if never mind. We'll leave it at that. You all set?
Yeah, I think we cut this here.